Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm in a totally different place doing a lure review. Got to give a big shout out to Mike and Angela for letting me use their pool. Angela is on YouTube. It is the life of a traveling nurse. Of a fat nurse. She is not fat. Mike has volunteered to be my cameraman in the pool. Man, I can't ask for better service than this, guys. But today I am doing the review on the slick lures. You can see right here we have two of them. This is their new color that just came out. This is the Croaker color. This color is absolutely awesome. And then this is also one that they've had out pretty cool. It is the Cool Beans, and what is it? It's called Cold Night right here. But these slick lures can be hooked up in a couple different ways. You can use a unweighted hook right here with the wide gap, and it has a screw in. This sinks at a rate of 1 foot per second. You can also hook it up as I have it right here on this one, and it has a 1/8 ounce wide gap hook on it with the screw head. And what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be casting these lures out into the pool to give you guys some underwater footage of these lures. These lures are known down here in Mobile to catch monster trout. Also got a special surprise. I have been given the Slick Junior. It will be launching out here in June 22. So this thing can be rigged up on a popping cork, and it can be used with the, what is this called? The Hayabusa wide gap hooks, and it has a 1/8 ounce. It can also be used with a 1/8 ounce jig head. Right now this is set up for weedless. This is really good for red fishing with a lot of hydrilla or any kind of, or even bass fishing. A lot of bass fishermen are getting on these really good because they're weedless, and the action on these things are freaking awesome. You can also see I got another one here with a different color, and it doesn't have a popping cork. So I'm going to be showing you guys what these lures look like in the water, and some of the best things about it. You really don't have to work these lures very hard. All you really have to do is just give them a slow reel. Man, I can't talk. And what you'll see is that lure just goes through there and kind of walks the dog. Also show you some other ways that you can retrieve it, but the most important thing, we're going to get to see these things in the water. All right, let's go fishing. All right, guys, so we're gonna throw the first one out is the original Slick, and we're gonna throw it here in the water, and you're gonna see it kind of working on top of the water. The first reel is super easy, especially like when you're fishing tournaments and you've been casting 200 times, 300 times, and you get tired of doing all this fancy stuff with your reel and rod. But I'm gonna give it a little cast, but you'll see here, watch how it kind of walks the dog, and all I'm doing is just reeling. I'm not jerking the tip at all. It just kind of walks the dog underneath the water. Let's do it one more time. We'll kind of see it, and then we'll get some underwater footage of it. Let it sink down, get down a little bit, and see. You can see how it just kind of walks the dog side to side right there, and it looks just like a mullet swimming through the water. Another way that you can fish it, you can let it go down and sink, and as it's sinking, you just kind of give it a twitch and reel, and keep that positive tension on the line, because usually when you're going to have that hit is when that lure is sinking down like that. You see it nice slow sink, and you just kind of pop it. It's real sporadic as it's going through the water column, so you're covering a lot more of the water. I'll give you another look at that real quick. Well, back cast. Let it sink down, and then you kind of give that reel and pop it and just let it float down. And just kind of always, you're kind of slowly always reeling and just keeping positive tension on that line, because when you feel that bite, it's going to be on that drop like that. I mean, it's just beautiful how it sinks down like that. All right. You can also give it a lot bigger twitch, and I think Mike is going to volunteer for us to get in the water.
Let's do it.
All right, man. I appreciate it, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I'll give another pass by a little farther away this time. All right, and now we're gonna go with the slow one where you see it sinking and kind of twitching all the way up. You can really see how much this bait moves around and changes direction. Specs absolutely love it. All right, so the next one we're gonna try right now is the Slick Junior that's gonna be releasing in June 22. And one of the ways they told me that I could hook this up is with a popping cork. I have never fished a slick this way before, but I'm telling you what, guys, this thing looks really good. I'm really excited about using it this spring and some spawning speckled trout on the beach. But you can see that we got it hooked up weedless right now on a popping cork, and it's probably around a 12-inch leader. On this, I just kind of work it as if I'm fishing a voodoo shrimp. And I just kind of pop it in the water. Makes that big splash on the surface. You can work it a little bit faster and give it a little bit more movement. But you can just see how good it works. Let's get another view of that thing right there. Mike's doing an excellent job of capturing our underwater footage for us today. Look at that, man, just looks awesome underwater. All right, let's get one more. I'm gonna work this one a little bit faster, just in case you have some feeding frenzies going on, and you wanted that thing to really kind of be working fast on the top of the water. All right. The next one I'm gonna show you guys is the Slick Junior without a popping cork. And right now I have it hooked up with a 1/8 ounce 3/0 hook. You can see it right here. About to throw this bad boy out there. This thing looks so good, guys. Can't wait for them to actually be able to purchase them in June 22, but look how good this thing looks underwater. Super sporadic, jumps all around, really, whoa. My line didn't come off there. There it goes. But you look at this thing just underwater. I mean, it just looks so good. Looks just like a little bull minnow kind of dashing through the water. Looks really good. All right, let's get another one here. You can reel this one in just like the original too, and just let it walk the dog by just getting a steady reel in, and it just kind of walks the dog underwater. The main thing is to leave that positive tension on that line so you can feel those bites. And also, like, this is how I really normally work it. I just kind of reel and just kind of pop it. You can see how it drops down in the water column. Just a beautiful bait. Really excited about fishing with this summer. All right, the last one I'm going to show you guys, I got to cut my line real quick to do it, but you can also hook these up without the weight. I don't have any, but I'm going to hook up this one real quick. This is the Slick Lure, original Slick Lure without the 1/8 ounce weight. You can see it right here. A lot of people use this when they're fishing in really shallow water, want a more of a top water kind of action. It does sink a little bit slower than when you have the 1/8 ounce weight on there. It's only by about 0.1 of a second difference, but it does kind of change how the bait works in the water column. I'm gonna show you that real quick. I'm gonna tie this one on and show you how it looks a little bit different. One thing I forgot to mention, when you're tying these, you could tie it directly to the hook, but most people tie it with the Rapala knot, is what I call it. It's just a little loop knot, so it allows the bait to kind of get more action when you're working it. All right, let's see what this bad boy looks like underwater. All right, I'm gonna do it. This one you'll see it kind of has more of a top water action, a lot of top water action here. So when you want that kind of a top water splashing, you take that weight off. Just to give you another shot of it real quick going by. See how that nose comes up and touches that water? It usually doesn't do that with the 1/8 ounce weight. With the 1/8 ounce weight, it stays just a little bit below the surface. When you take it off, it'll come up and give that little kind of a pop right on the surface. The early morning bite. All right, I'm gonna give this the slow. You'll see that it does sink slower without the 1/8 ounce. You can see it's a lot slower. That 0.1 of a second, it makes a difference. And so if the fish are a little bit more lethargic and you want that slower movement, take that 1/8 ounce off and you can just bounce it over the oyster piles or the grass flats. All right, I'm gonna work it a little bit faster now. This is how I'll work it in the springtime, kind of making it dart back and forth off the dog. I mean, it just looks gorgeous. You can see, I love it when it comes up and touches the top of the water. It's almost like as if it's like a mullet just coming up. When you see this mullet swimming in the springtime or in the beach, you see them, they kind of touch their fins up a lot. That's what this bait does when you're working it without the 1/8 ounce hook. Let it drop down. You see how evenly it drops down? Real sporadic. You can kind of make the bait do whatever you want. All right, one more cast, and that'll be it. Working it slow now, just kind of letting it drop down to the bottom, twitching it, keeping that line tight though. When you do have that 1/8 ounce off the bait, you do have to be a little bit more patient when working it. But just know that the bait is doing its work underneath the water. Usually you're not bailing a fish in super clear water like this. All right, guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you want to go check out these baits, go check them out on pureflats.com. You can get you some. If you want the Slick Junior, they'll be released here in June 22. Bass fishermen are loving them. Saltwater fishermen are loving them. Speckled trout, redfish, snook, these baits are producing. You guys make sure you go check them out. And I'll see you guys on the water.